Hey everyone, welcome to Mountain Beast Mysteries. In today's video, I wanted to talk about a piece of Bigfoot footage that is by far one of my favorites, and I've always thought to be most likely genuine. This one kind of gets overshadowed by all the other examples of Bigfoot footage out there, usually. I did make a video about it a long time ago, probably maybe 2.5 years ago. It's one of the earliest videos on the channel. And this piece of Bigfoot footage is known as the Mount St. Helens footage. Now, in this footage, you can see there's somebody filming from on top of a mountain, high up into the alpine, out of the tree line. He's with another gentleman who you eventually hear off camera. And they're climbing up this mountain, and you know, these big rocks that are right below them start tumbling down the mountain. They give way and they're rolling down the mountain slope. And these aren't small rocks, these are really big rocks. You can tell in the video, like, they're pretty big and dangerous. And they start rolling down the mountain, and this guy's filming it. And while he's filming these rocks rolling down the mountain, he notices something down in the trees. There's like a little clearing in the trees way down below. It's pretty far away. He says, you know, look, there's something down there in the clearing. And then you see a creature that looks very much like Patty from the Patterson-Gimlin film. Very much so. All black, has like a forward-leaning head, you know. In a lot of these examples of Bigfoot footage, you'll notice this. The Bigfoot seems to be like leaning forward or hunched forward. And the head doesn't really like stand straight up. It kind of tilts forward. But you see that has like a cone-shaped head. It's all black. It has quite a bit of mass to it, and it's walking along in the clearing away from them at a fast pace. And this is one thing that, like, I think is very interesting, is that as it's walking away, it's moving very much like Patty. Very much. You know, in the Patterson footage, Patty's not running. She's not like running away in fear of, you know, Bob Gimlin and Roger Patterson. She's moving very quickly to get away, but not, you know, running at like a fast pace. And this creature's doing the exact same thing. It appears as if once it heard these rocks falling and, you know, basically heading straight towards it, it decided to get the heck out of there in a hurry, but not running. And it even seems to do a quick turn to look up at the slope, to look up at the two people on top of the mountain. And like, even that little turn that it makes to look at them looks very similar to Patty as well. The one thing I also noticed is that the reactions of the two people on the mountain do seem pretty genuine. The one guy says, hey, look, there's something down there in the clearing. And the other guy's just like, oh yeah. Like, he sees it, and they don't really know what it is at first, it seems. And then it walks off away from them and makes a turn to the left into the trees and out of sight. Now, my theory for this video is that this creature, this Sasquatch, was probably following them and observing them and keeping an eye on them, you know, throughout the whole hike. Probably it was probably onto them. It was stalking them, not in like a dangerous sense, like it was gonna kill them or injure them in any way, but it was keeping an eye on them. It was probably tracking them, and it probably had the plan of hiding in that tree line just out of sight to just watch those men on the mountain and see, you know, what they're up to. But then when these giant rocks got dislodged and started heading straight for where this creature was, it got startled and it took off. Back when I first made a video about this, there were people saying, like, there's no danger of being down that far away and having those rocks come down, but, you know, you obviously haven't spent very much time in the mountains and climbing mountains and hiking to know that rocks of that size are certainly dangerous at that distance. You know, the amount of velocity and momentum that they pick up as they go down, like, it could definitely kill a person if a person was down there in the tree line and, you know, not seeing it coming. So I think that creature saw that, recognized it, and was like, oh crap, I better get out of here. So it took off and hid further away into the trees. And in doing so, made a mistake and revealed its location. And those two men saw it. So that's my theory as to what happened there. These people were out near Mount St. Helens on a hike. on a beautiful day, probably, you know, not expecting to see anything. And just by chance, having those rocks falling down the mountain, you know, caused them to have like a great Sasquatch experience where they actually see the thing. Now it makes you wonder how many times you're out hiking in the wilderness. It makes you wonder, like, maybe like 9 times out of 10, or maybe not that high, but maybe most of the time when we're out in the wilderness, we're actually being followed like that without even knowing it. You know, the creature did keep quite a, you know, distance in between itself and the 2 hikers, but still, it was probably onto them the whole time. And, you know, it is creepy to think about that. You know, when we're out hiking, there could be something 100 yards away, 200 yards away, keeping tabs on us. And I bet you it happens more often than not, especially in some of these places like Nordegg and, you know, in the Pacific Northwest and British Columbia and down into Washington and Oregon. I bet you that happens all the time. And we don't even know it. So it seems like when people do observe Sasquatch and are able to get it on video, a lot of the time it is due to the creature making some sort of mistake, or it's trying to get away and kind of blunders out into the open. And, you know, it makes sense that that's how that happens. It's not like they're really intending to be seen. It's just a mistake that they have made. So, also Mount St. Helens, like the Mount St. Helens area, very famous for Sasquatch sightings, for Sasquatch stories. You got the Ape Canyon incident. You have the Mount St. Helens eruption stories of the Bigfoot bodies being, you know, recovered and burnt up, and it's just always been, I guess, a location that is the source of a lot of Bigfoot activity and reports. So, you know, it would make sense that a Sasquatch would eventually be filmed in that area. Like, I made a video not that long ago, I said, like, if you're gonna find a Bigfoot body somewhere, it's probably in that area, you know, due to one maybe being killed in that eruption, because there's no way of escaping, you know, the Mount St. Helens eruption if you're in close proximity to, like, the epicenter of that disaster. I mean, chances of survival are, you know, next to 0. Some people think the creature in the video looks, you know, like it's a baggy costume. I don't really see that. You know, these creatures are covered in hair, they're bulky, so it's kind of from a distance gonna give like that appearance, you know, but it's too hard to tell, really. I mean, the creature's really far away and you're shooting on not the best quality camera and you're zooming in, and I'm sure, you know, there's some sort of distortion and some sort of artifacts that appear in the video that kind of, you know, take away the detail and make things look like it could be potentially a baggy costume or something of the sort. But to me, it looks very genuine in the way the creature moves and in the way it behaves, very similar to Patty. And I always had a good feeling about this one. I always thought that it was most likely genuine, and I still think that. That being said, maybe in recent years, more information has come to light. Maybe it is in fact a hoax and I've just not heard about that information. So if there is anyone out there that has any more information on it, you know, I want to know about it. You can write below in the comments and let me know what you've heard. I mean, there's a lot of information out there online, and it's really hard to, you know, find all the information on these Bigfoot clips. Like, it's hard to learn everything, and you know, there's always going to be people that know more information on things than you. So that's pretty much all I have to say about this video, is that I still think it's a genuine piece of footage, and that, you know, think about when you're out in the wilderness that potentially, you know, most of the time you're out there, you might be being followed by one of these things. You know, it might not be very close to you, it might be at a distance, but there's a good chance that you're being watched. If you want to support Mountain Beast Mysteries, you can do so through the GoFundMe link down in the video description, or on the main channel page in the top right. There's a PayPal link there on the banner image. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you next time on Mountain Beast Mysteries.